I would say that we led a very simple life. It was a bit quieter. The pace of life was not as hectic as nowadays. I spent most of my time in Lorong Tai Seng. If I had to walk along Paya Lebar, actually it was to make my way to school, or to maybe, as I said once, I walked all the way to Geylang Serai, just to challenge myself that I could walk all the way and so on. When I talk about it, when I recall, when I relive the memories, there's depth, there's emotion, there's feeling. So to me, that's about 3D, three-dimensional, right? Which outsiders may not be able to relate to or so-called understand how I feel and so on. There's always this different. I think, well, sometimes if you think about nation building, I think you have no choice. I think it's a bit controversial whether you should retain the old charms or whether you should let go, let the government redevelop the area for the benefits of future generations. We used to walk down the airport road and take a bus, probably about 10 cents or 15 cents, all the way down to the terminal at Paya Lebar Airport, and we will walk up to the viewing so-called gallery. I think there was no tower, there was a gallery, open air. I remember it was open air. It was a so-called walk-up staircase, and there was still some British soldiers or pilots still around, working personnel, Air Force personnel working around. Sometimes I even went alone. Yeah. Life was so simple, there's nothing, no computer game, no television. It was a joy to look at those planes coming down, touching down, flying off, taking off and so on. We probably had to stop for 1-2 minutes for the plane to fly past before we resume our conversation. In fact, those farmers who stay near the airport, they complained that the chicken couldn't lay eggs because they were frightened by the loud noise. That's the building, and beside that building is Tai Seng Link, formerly the start of Lorong Tai Seng, all the way that it meandered its way itself, all the way up to Airport Road. To my right here, there's this so-called Guangming building, which was actually formerly a cinema. In Chinese, it's called Guangming Xiyan. In English, it's called Bright Cinema. So I used to use this as my focal point to orientate myself, where I formerly stayed and where was the wet market and so on. I used to cross the road from Lorong Tai Seng, and I would walk along the corridor, a row of shop houses with some residences to make my way to the primary school, which was Ealing South Primary School. To my left, this was a bakery. In the 60s to 70s. We have these loaves of bread which they make for the coffee shops, and even small buns where these Indian peddlers would come in with their bicycles, and they will load these so-called buns and so on, and go around to the kampongs and so on, and sell them with spread of kaya, margarine. Yeah. This was a place where there was a char kway teow store that I made friends with, and so-called old uncle, who was quite friendly, and after a few conversations, we got to know each other very well. And there was one time where I was sick. He somehow managed to find all the way to my house with a packet of kway teow. Yeah, this was my former primary school, Ealing South Primary School. Slightly to my back here, where they have the green fence here, that was the tuck shop. And during recess, after a quick meal, we'd normally run to one of the trees here nearby and loiter around. And probably sometimes we just play some simple games and so on. There was a slope somewhere near the staircase there. The slope all the way up from the school compound to the main road, Upper Paya Lebar Road. The school field was very much bigger than what you can see now. Actually, part of it is being occupied by Bartley Secondary School now. And beyond the fence there was so-called Ealing North Primary School. We used to gaze across the school field and look at what other schoolmates were doing across the fence and so on. Wonder what life was like over the other side and so on. For someone who spent 5 years here, from primary 1 to primary 5, it's a bit sad that whenever I pass here, I just can't find a school anymore. Even if you build a new school, that's what happened to my secondary school, Bartley Secondary. Each time I passed by, there wasn't much of a so-called emotion. I knew that was my school, but somehow the structure, the lifestyle and so on, you just cannot figure out. The perception was different, the feeling was different. Right? It's a totally new building, new layout, new location. And if you really want to so-called have a so-called good understanding of, good reflection of those days, you really need to have the same environment, the same landscape, the same so-called layout. Otherwise, as I said before, the most is probably some days that you can actually recall in your mind, which nobody else will understand.